Okay, let's talk about climate finance in Africa. You hear about these huge sums of money, billions of dollars, pledged to help communities adapt to climate change. But here's the thing. A massive chunk of that money is just stuck. And the reason why might surprise you. It's not about a lack of money. It's actually about a lack of trust. So that's the big question, right? With so much on the line and all this capital supposedly available, why isn't it actually reaching the people and the projects that need it the most? When you see the numbers, the scale of this failure is, well, it's pretty staggering. Get this. $50 billion. That's not the total amount needed, that's the gap. The difference between what Africa needs for climate adaptation and what it actually gets every single year. It's a shortfall that has very real consequences for lives and livelihoods. So, where is a gap that massive coming from? You know, it's easy to think, oh, donors just aren't willing to pay up. But the real problem here isn't about willingness. It's all about accountability. Let's see what the data shows us. This chart really lays it bare. The need is up around $58 billion a year, but what's actually arriving? Less than 10% of that. We're not talking about a small leak in the system. This is like the main water line has completely burst. So what's causing such a massive blockage? And here we are. This is the absolute heart of the issue. You see, it's not really a funding gap. It's an accountability gap. Funders are, understandably hesitant to pour in more money when they can't get clear, verifiable proof that it's actually making a difference. In fact, one study found that over half of African adaptation projects have no clear baseline data. Think about that. No data means no proof, and no proof means no trust. So if the problem is a broken trust mechanism, well, the solution has to be a trust engine. And that is precisely what Orun.io is built to be. It's a platform designed to tackle this accountability crisis head-on. The way it works is actually pretty brilliant because it creates a win-win-win for everybody. For the climate funders, it gives them the hard, verifiable impact data they need to reduce their risk and invest with confidence. For the African communities on the ground, they get ownership of their data and even financial incentives to participate. And for the project managers, it gives them real-time data to see what's working and what isn't. It just aligns everyone toward the same goal, getting results you can actually prove. Okay, so how does it actually build this trust? This is where things get really cool. Orun.io is what's called a hybrid M&E platform. That's just short for monitoring and evaluation. And it combines two incredibly powerful sources of truth in a way that's both super high-tech and, at the same time, deeply human. Just think of it like this: eyes in the sky and boots on the ground. On one side, you've got objective, scalable satellite data, the pixels. It can see everything. But by itself, it doesn't have any context. So you have to combine it with data from the people who are actually there, the communities who provide that nuanced, verifiable ground truth that explains why the pixels are changing. When you put those two together, you get a powerful, complete, and really robust picture of what's going on. And all this amazing hybrid data gets fed into a super rigorous scientific method. It's called Before-After Control Impact, or BAC for short. It sounds complex, but it's a really simple and powerful way to prove that something actually worked. First, you measure the project area and a similar control area before you do anything. Then, after the project is running, you measure both areas again. By comparing the changes, you can filter out all the random noise and isolate the project's true effect. It's how you get to that undeniable proof. And I want to be clear, this is not just some idea on a napkin. Orun.io is a fully developed, mature platform that's already out there being put to work. The platform has gone through 4 major development phases, all the way from the initial concept to a full open-source release. We're talking about a serious piece of tech here, over 50,000 lines of code. It's ready to go, right now. And it's already being battle-tested in the real world. Check out these 3 pilot projects that show just how versatile it is. In Kenya, it's monitoring sand dams to fight drought. In Nigeria, it's tracking mangrove restoration. And in Botswana, it's measuring water management in the Okavango Basin. Each one tackles a totally different climate challenge, which proves the platform can adapt to pretty much any situation across the continent. So let's tie this all back together. How does a tech platform that combines satellite pixels with community reports solve that $50 billion problem we started with? It really all boils down to this single idea. By providing that undeniable scientific proof of impact, Orun.io makes these climate projects bankable. It totally de-risks the investment for funders, and it restores that fundamental trust that was broken. That's what gives them the confidence they need to finally close that massive funding gap. I think this quote really nails what makes it so different. Lots of companies out there are forecasting climate risk, usually for big private clients. But Orun.io is doing something else. It's built to verify real-world results for the public good, and it's playing in a space where it can make the absolute biggest difference, unlocking those huge public development funds. So I'll just leave you with this one thought to chew on. What if the real key to unlocking billions for climate adaptation isn't just about finding more money? What if the actual catalyst, the thing that changes everything, is simply having more proof?